Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and back to some historic Brawl. Gotta make the most of it. We are closing in on the end of the festival season, so we've got one last historic Brawl deck for you guys versus strangers on the internet anyway. And today is a deck that a lot of my viewers have told me about, one that is kind of a little bit broken, so I figured I'd build it myself and see what we came up with. Wasn't much of a deck building exercise though, to be honest, because this commander is pretty much, well, as the name suggests, auto-include tribal. We're going to be playing around with Magda today, Brazen Outlaw, a 2-mana 2/1 that gives other dwarves +1/+0, and whenever a dwarf becomes tapped that you control, create a treasure token. You can sack 5 treasures to search your library for an artifact or dragon card and put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle your library. So why is it an auto-include tribal list? Well, if you go into the type line and you type equals dwarf, you'll notice that I've added every single dwarf except for one. And these are all the dwarves in Historic Brawl. Turns out, I guess, most of the dwarves from Kaladesh are actually white or Boros, so you can't really include them in a Magda list. So, yeah, 16 creatures total, a couple of sorceries as well that generate dwarves, and yeah, the rest of it's all about generating treasures and then the payoffs. And again, like, the payoffs for this deck are kind of auto-includes in themselves as well. Like, if you go for the best artifacts that you could possibly get and the best dragons you could possibly get, it doesn't really open too much up to you. So let's talk about, I guess, the dragons and the artifacts that we can get, that we would care to get here. So we got Sky Sovereigns, and I guess also Throne of Godfair over here. This is kind of the package that we can get with our treasures. Some of them we'll be getting significantly more likely over others, so for example, probably not going to be grabbing Throne of the Godfarer too often, but it is a artifact that says at the beginning of our end step, each opponent loses life equal to the number of tapped creatures you control. Our creatures being tapped is kind of part of the mechanic of this deck, so it works very nicely with Magda. Specifically as well, works very well when we're crewing creatures with it, because Cultivator's Caravan, for those who don't know, it is a vehicle with crew 3, and this mechanic is a bit of an interesting one, because you can use the crew as much as you like. So it's usually put here so that you use 3 powers worth of creature to turn it into a creature, and then that's that. It's ready to go. However, even while Cultivator's Caravan is a creature, you can still use the crew. And you can overcrew as well. You don't have to crew equal to 3. You can crew your entire board, which means you tap them all to make Cultivator's Caravan a creature, even if it's already a creature. So it synergizes well with Magda and the Dwarf synergy in that regard as well. Another reason why vehicles in this are auto-includes. So we've got the best vehicles in the deck. We've got Heart of Kieran, we've got Cultivator's Caravan, Aethersphere Harvester, and then some of the top end we're not going to be using as crews necessarily, more as a removal spell we can crew with later, like Sky Sovereign, which lightning bolts a creature or planeswalker, and then also has a crew 3, which you can then attack with and do some nasty stuff with, which is pretty cool. But anyway, back to what we're going to be grabbing with Magda. The ones that we're going to be grabbing most of all, I guess, is 4 particular cards. That's going to be Paradox Engine. 9 times out of 10 we're going to grab this one first, because it is a legendary artifact that says whenever you cast a spell, you untap all non-land permanents you control. So if we tap Magda to generate the 5 treasures we need to pull Paradox Engine out of the deck, then we'll do that, put Paradox Engine into play. Whenever we cast a card from our hand, we untap all of our creatures, which means we can then reuse Magda and the Dwarves to crew Cultivator's Caravan or whatever else we want to be crewing with to generate 5 treasures again. Then we go grab something else with Magda. So Paradox Engine's basically a free card in a nutshell. So you always want to be grabbing it, because it just makes Magda go absolutely berserk. The other ones are going to be Chroma's Memorial, 7 mana. Creatures you control have flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, and protection from black and red. Black and red being the colours of removal. It's pretty useful. Pretty useful indeed. So that's one that we want to go grab. Potentially allow us to fly over the top and kill our opponent, for example. Speaking of killing our opponent, Terror of Mount Velus is another one. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain double strike until the end of the turn. Bit of a situational one. You're going to have a fair few dwarves on board, but if you can make it happen, it's pretty sweet. And it's also a 5/5 double strike on its own, so pretty worthwhile. Immortal Sun. If you're up against the Seeker matchups or whatever, then you get to shut off all of your opponent's Planeswalkers with this one. Also give your creatures +1/+1, cost reduction, and additional draw step every single time. Goldspan Dragon says whenever it attacks or becomes the target of a spell, it creates a treasure token. So it's going with the treasure value side of things once again. And also makes your treasures tap for double mana, so we can go and hardcast the stuff in our hand if we've drawn any of this nasty stuff. But yeah, that's mostly the deck as it is. As I said, all of our dwarves to enable Magda are in here. It is literally every single dwarf -1. One that I just couldn't bring myself to play because it seems just wildly unplayable in Historic Brawl. So I didn't really bother with that one. And then we've got every reasonable card that generates treasures as well. So we've got Pirate's Pillage, we've got Seize the Spoils, we've got Lannery Storm in here as well. What else have we got? Treasure Map. Actually, Honorary Dwarf, Metallic Mimic, by the way. We'll give all your dwarves +1/+1, or +1/+1 counter specifically. Goldvein Pick can give +1/+1, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, it creates a treasure token, so it's a nice early game way to double down on unblocked damage, generate the treasures we need for Magda. And yeah, I guess that's really about it. We've got a small amount of removal here just to shut off our opponent from comboing off. Historic Brawl is quite combo-centric. You want to deal with your Kinnons and whatnot and Mana Docs in the early game. You don't really want to let your opponent run free, because our combo is not just an I win the game combo, so we still have to win after we've established it all, so we do need to be able to interact a little bit. So we've got a couple of interaction spells, not too many, but, you know, Frostbite with our Snow Mana deals 3 damage, pretty good. Fire Prophecy allows us to put some of those unplayables to the bottom of our deck so we can pull them later. Lightning Strike can finish off absolutely anything. And Tundra Fumarole's pretty good as well because we have a lot of colorless artifacts. It's 3 mana, deals 4 damage to a creature or planeswalker, and then you add colorless for each snow spent to cast this spell. So you can pay 3 for this and then generate 3 and then use it to play a Cultivator's Caravan or an Aethersphere Harvester, for example. It's kind of the idea behind that. And yeah, that's the list. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If you do, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Let me know what you guys have been playing in the Historic Brawl queue. I'm very curious. It is going to be the last day of Historic Brawling, unfortunately for me, but we can always come back and face viewers in Stream Community Challenge as usual. So yeah, let me know what you've been playing, and without further ado, let's continue. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Alrighty then, opponent goes first. We have 3 dwarves, and yeah, I mean, I guess this is fine. Don't exactly need the payoff card, because that's what Magda's here for. Our opponent is on Kaya the Inexorable, though, so lots of things are likely to die. We'll see if we can make that happen. So 5 mana, 5 loyalty, tick up to put a Ghost Farm counter on a non-token creature, and it gains whenever it dies or is put into exile. Return it to its owner's hand and put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. And then the -3 exiles a non-land permanent. The -7 basically wins you the game, gives you an emblem that allows you to cast a legendary spell every single turn. Very fun is Kaya. What are they going to take with Thoughtseize? Going to go with a Frostbite. Sure. Guess they don't want me removing their creatures, but they have plenty of removal in their hand for my creatures. Kitesail Freebooter takes the Fumarole. Be strange if it didn't. It's very strange. Alright, that just means that as soon as I get to Fumarole mana, I can blow up the Freebooter and then use the colorless that this generates in order to play the Cultivator's Caravan. So, yep, pretty good, pretty good. Knight in the Ebon Legion. Yeah, usually what you have to do with Kitesail Freebooter is take the removal that would get rid of it, because otherwise it doesn't really do a great deal. It's kind of annoying having our creature removed, but, you know, this is creature removal tribal after all, and, yeah, that would be an issue. So this is a bit of a weird one, because we don't have the 3 colourless mana, so I wouldn't be able to cast the Cultivator's Caravan or the 7 Dwarves off of the mana, so I'm just going to wait on the freebooter. Let's get 7 Dwarves out there. Honestly, a little bit of a rough start. If this wasn't a field ruin, it was actually a snow-covered mountain, things would be going a whole lot better. Not exactly the most aggressive start for us here, to be honest. Foretells a card. That's probably a Doomscar. There we go. Alright. So, I can play Magda, get in, and that will give me a 7 Dwarves treasure token. But I think actually what I want to do is go with the Fumarole. Hit you with the Snow Mana. Play the Cultivator's Caravan, and then a 7 Dwarves, swinging in for 3. I'd say that's pretty reasonable for a turn. It's 3 mana to activate the Knight of the Ebon Legion, so that's not bad. Is this only on their end step? Yeah. Okay, so if I dealt 4, it wouldn't get pumped. Good to know. Seasoned Hallerblade for our opponent. And this is a crew 3. We've got the Knight of the Ebon Legion pump now. Discard, draw 2, create a treasure. I think I just have to get Magda down. Let's go Magda. I can crew with the team then to make several treasure tokens. I think that's worth doing. Let's crew with Magda and a 7 Dwarves. That generates 2 mana. I can use that 2 mana on a 7 Dwarves. I'm not sure how I want to block, so I want to keep a 4-3 back, essentially, rather than generating the extra token. I mean, I can still go for the Seize the Spoils, which is not terrible. But I think I'll just go with this. Got some 5/4s. And then we'll pass. We can still crew for 2. Probably shouldn't click the auto pass button. In case our opponent kills one of our untapped creatures or goes after my Magda. So now I'm going to be able to activate my Magda on my next turn, getting an Akroa's Memorial, I guess. I think it gives me protection from black and red. Chroma's Memorial, protection from black, yep. I guess Kaya can interfere with that somewhat. But if they go for the minus, I've got the Skyship Sovereign, so... Can't imagine I have to care too much about what Kaya does here. Actually, I'll leave one back. Since they can't activate the Knight of the Ebon Legion, this just makes me able to block nicely.
That was an easy job.
And then crew again. This mechanic. It's a thing. Alright, so... Play... Yeah, play the lands. Crew, we need 5, so... 1, 2, that gives us 5 treasures. So give me the 5. This game is over now. Unless I've got Mortify, I guess. That would do it. Actually, no modifiers for enchantments, isn't it? So that wouldn't work. 2, 3, 4, 5. Submit. We have options. I think Akroma's Memorial's the one I want. But I could also see... I guess I could see Paradox Engine. How many creatures? We only got 3 creatures. So if I put Paradox Engine into play, I tap the 1 dwarf, play, seize the spoils, untaps, gives me 4 dwarfs total. I mean, that's a cool way of going about it. It's why it's in here for doing that combo shenanigans. It's probably not necessary, but let's just do it. You know? Let's go crazy. Live on the edge, chat. Crew. Yeah, generate 1 mana, generate a treasure. That gives me 1 mana here off the Seize the Spoils we discard there. That makes a treasure, untaps the entire team. Then we tap the Caravan again, tap these 3, that gives us 3 treasures. We play the Sky Sovereign, I think that untaps enough for us to then tap again, and then we get Akroma's Memorial and do our shenanigans. Yep. It's a thing, alright. A little bit of a nice, tasty combo finish, and Kaya removal was not enough. I don't know why they went after a 7 Dwarves and not Magda, though. They pretty much killed themselves by doing that. And it was a Starheim unleashed in the Foretell Zone, actually. Was not a Doomscar. Interestingly enough. And yeah, that's a victory. Let's go to the next game. Alrighty then, we're in, and it's more removal tribal. This sounds a bit weird, but I'm going to keep it anyway, because I'm weird. Opponent on the play with Nicol Bolas, Dragon God, 5 mana 4 loyalty, has the loyalty abilities of all other planeswalkers on the battlefield. Rip my hand. Tick up to draw a card, then maybe exile a card, a permanent I control, or a card from my hand. Mountain's pretty good. Then you can -3 to destroy a creature or planeswalker. -8 basically wins the game as long as my commander's not out. Oh, rip my hand again. So I don't think there's any way in hell I'm ever going to win this matchup. Mostly because I'm going to play a Magda here. It's going to immediately die, and I have no real choice about the matter. Like, there's just no reason why they wouldn't kill it. Never mind. Apparently there's a perfectly good reason that I'm not aware of. Get swinging. Let's get one of the lands they know about out of there, I guess. And yeah, what do we do with this? Valakut's Awakening, maybe? Grab a brand new hand. I could throw away all the stuff they know about. If I played a 7 Dwarves, it would likely just get languished, I guess. But maybe that's fine. I don't know. I think a fresh hand is probably what I'm looking for here. I'm not convinced that this hand wins me the game, so let's swap it out now. Well, we're going to go with a Chandra. Hopefully we can dig for an answer for that. I guess we got Faceless Haven, so it's answer enough, right? Alright, the entire hand's going away. Yeah, command zone, please. Ooh, Aethersphere Harvester. We have our vehicle. So if I use Faceless Haven to kill Chandra, their next turn is just Black Sauce, Bolas, rip. You guys don't have haste, right? Nope. Yeah, a bit of a weird one. Maybe I just go Magda again. They need a literal Black Sauce for the Bolas, so they can't just use Chandra's Tick Up that way, and otherwise it's just 2 points of damage, maybe. I don't know. This one just seems lost anyway. I think my only hope is that Magda gets to do a thing. Mystical Dispute hits the trash. No swamp, no swamp, no swamp, no swamp. Yeah, okay. There is hope for us yet. Never mind. There is now no longer any hope for us. Next game! Alrighty then, we're in, and we're on the play against Nahiri, Storm of Stone, a cool commander, I guess. You don't see this one every day. I say cool commander, it's probably a bad commander. I guess we'll keep this hand, by the way. And I'll just drop down the Dwarf in mine, I think, because I need this on turn 4, and is that likely to happen? Probably not. I think I'd probably rather not take the risk of it whiffing, and we'll just throw it out there. And let's see, I think we'll lead off with a 7 Dwarves here, because then Magda can trigger off that attacking. Rather than Magda opening herself up to removal here and then not doing anything. Imagine our opponent's going to be, yep, killing immediately. No surprises there. Alright, so let's go with probably another 7 Dwarves. Next turn I can go land, cultivate as Caravan Magda, and then I can even tap Magda for the mana as well, which is kind of cool. So, let's talk about our opponent's commander. Kind of got sidetracked. Nahiri, 4 mana, 6 loyalty, as long as it's your turn. Good lord. Damage equal to itself. Yep, can't be stopping that. Fun is all about murdering my stuff. I think we're going straight in with the Magda. They've used 2 removal spells so far, so we'll see. Path of Metal. Excuse me. Thanks, game. So for those who don't know, I actually had a thing I could do there, because I can actually crew my unit. But the game's decided, haha, no you can't. So I've missed out on 1 treasure here that could make the difference, which is really cool. Love it when that happens. So let's go with 1 mana of any colour. I want to make sure that I'm getting my maximum amount of value here, because I think what I can do is I can go Tundra Fumarole, generates 3 snow. Using that, I can use 1 red mana here for the Magda. I can use 1 for the... 2 for the Rimrot Knight here. And then, what I could do is this. I can crew a tapped creature. Would you look at that? And then I could play Throne of the Godpharaoh. I kind of think I don't. I think I need our treasures. Nahiri. This deals damage to tap creatures, doesn't it? Literally, I never got the chance to read it. Because our opponent just kept throwing things at me. That's okay, though. So as long as it's your turn, creatures you control have first strike and equip abilities cost 1 less, and then it deals damage to tapped creatures. That's the dealio. Magda's coming back out. Magda's getting some crewing done. And then I think the caravan's going full swing into Nahiri here. And we are 1 treasure away from activating Magda and getting protection from red. I think that's probably what we want to do. Protection from red with the Crower's Memorial. Question is Magda dead again? Looks like the answer is, thankfully, no. There's a true fire captain. Oh, good lord. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to crew up the team. You have to crew up enough to actually make the creature spawn, so there is that. And then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, submit. We could go with Paradox Engine, actually. Get Paradox Engine out. Tap 1 red. Tap 1 Throne of the Godpharaoh. Crew 1, 2, tap 3. Play 8th Sphere Harvester. Untaps everything, crew again. I think we get to go grab another creature with Magda, or another artifact with Magda, and that will probably do it. No opponent's going to let us play it out, but the combo's there. It's certainly there, alright. Next game. Alrighty then, we're in, and we're up against Persistent Petitioners probably. This hand is almost okay because of the Fire Prophecy, but the land situation's kind of garbage. It's just not that aggressive. I think I'd much rather have Dwarves and Magda here to trigger those. So, yeah, there we go. Much better. And yeah, we go first, so we're in a pretty good spot. So yeah, our opponent's playing Persistent Petitioners. Most likely, anyway, with Bruvak, the Grand Delinquent. 3 mana, 1/4. If an opponent would mill 1 or more cards, they mill twice that many cards instead. It is an advisor, so it cares about the Petitioner card type. And yeah, we want to be just dropping down Dwarves to swing through to our opponent to generate as many treasures as possible, as quickly as possible. The real question is, what's our payoff card when we get that? We get Paradox Engine, probably. And then what? Sky Sovereign can hit some stuff, I suppose. Maybe that's what we want to do, a slow painful win. Maybe Terra Mount Valus. Let's find out whether it is actually Petitioners. It could actually just be legitimately mill. Looks like it might be legitimately mill, wow. You don't see it very often. Alright, so Snow-Covered Mountain. We're going to play Magda. And then, yeah, let's get in for 3 here. And do we foretell a Dwarven Reinforcements? That's the question. So if I foretell it, I lose my token, and I have 4 mana to play with next turn. 2 of it is on the Reinforcements, or I could do Pirate's Pillage first, but I open myself up to counter magic that generates the 2 treasures to then play the Reinforcements. I feel like that might be okay. The 2 Dwarves are going to be really useful. So let's see what we can do there. Drowned Secrets. Right. Let's... I know they're holding up in counter magic here. It's pretty much a given. So it could be Censors and Dwarves Disruptions. So I want to play around that in a conditional sense. I don't want to be swinging Magda into an Overwhelmed Apprentice, obviously. I don't necessarily want to be playing Pirate's Pillage into our opponent's board either. Let's get in with the 7 Dwarves, and then I'll play Dwarven Reinforcements here, create the 2 2/1s, see what they want to do about that. They want to let that go. And then I'll play a treasure map. And it was a Dwarves Disruption. Okay. I could pay for it. If I don't pay for it, I've got 1 treasure here. I swing in. That's 5 for the Magda. Magda sacks those to grab. I don't know. I don't care enough about treasure map, I think, for the potential upside that I'm going to be gaining from the attack here. Of course, our opponent can have nasty things like bounce spells to kind of upset it, but they're going to have to do it pre-combat, and therefore I don't really have to swing in. So I'm going to have to do a lot of work here. Glasspool Shore. Seize the spoils. So if I played Torbran, This is what I want to do, right? I want to play Torbran. Do a little bit of full control combating here just in case. Let me just make sure it's absolutely 100% locked in. Make the 4 treasures. Use those 5 treasures to get something like... Well, I'm thinking something like a Crowan Memorial, because this gives flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, and protection from black and red. It'll make us fly right over the top. We could also go with Terror, giving double strike, which means it trades into everything. We can't really do the Paradox Engine shenanigans here. Immortal Sun's kind of lost on us. It's a 1/4 on Bruvac, so the 3 damage on Sky Sovereign doesn't really do much. Yeah, let's go with Terror. Let's get Terror in there. Double strike up our team. There you go. Like, they can block Magda and trade it off, I suppose, but it's no big deal, really. This just leaves us with a pretty unlosable board state. I guess they could have River's Rebuke or something of that nature. It's basically Bulu's board wipe. Flood of Tears, for example. Yep, that would do it. Back to my hand, please. Alright, let's see. We can go... let's see. Go Magda. Magda 7 dwarves, I think. Try and go wide here. Into the Story. Draws 4. Leaves them with 1 mana open. Make a land drop. So they could do 2 1-mana bounce spells. Otherwise, we go right around them. Yep. Unsummon. Stern Dismissal. Those things do exist. So it was not necessarily over, but let's face it, it was over. They would have probably done better being a petitioners deck against us, honestly. But yeah, that Flood of Tears definitely slowed us down, but didn't really stop us from winning. Need to be able to follow it up with something pretty good, otherwise, you know, they just come back and kill you anyway, which is what we did. Pretty sweet. Alrighty then, opponent goes first. It's not the deck you want to be up against going first, unfortunately. This hand's okay. It's got removal for their mana dork. It's got a dwarf that we can use to accelerate our mana. It's got discard fodder for Valakut's Awakening. See where we go. So, Kinnan Bond of Prodigy, I'm sure most of you know what this one does. It's 2 mana 2/2 that basically doubles up the power of mana dorks. And we are going to kill all the mana dorks in order to avoid Kinnan doing its job. So now we got the Tundra Fumarole. We could do that into a Metallic Mimic, perhaps, if our opponent plays another mana dork here. That's not one we can interact with, unfortunately. So you would be a dwarf if I named you, so that's pretty cool. I think that's what we want to do. Name dwarf. So all of our dwarves now enter with an additional counter on them, which is not irrelevant. There's Kinnan, gives them 3 mana into Uro. Okay. Not bad, actually. It's actually pretty much just underwhelming, to be honest. And then tap land for them. Goldspan Dragon. Ooh-wee, Rick. Ooh-wee. Alright, so from here, what I'm going to do is Tundra Fumarole the Kinnan with the Snow Mana. It's going to leave me with the ability to play my Magda and a Heart of Kiran here. And then that Heart of Kiran can allow me to get out a 7 dwarves, which I think is something I want to be doing. I think I want to be doing that. Right? Crew 3. Yeah, I can use the 7 Dwarves to crew the Heart of Kieran on my opponent's end step as well. Or I could do it right now, to be fair. I think that's what we want to be doing. Because then I can activate Elder GG. That's not too bad. So we crew. Generate a treasure. And let's see. We can do... They've got reach, so I can't be doing an attack here. I can tap 3, have 4 treasures. Could redraw if I wanted to. I think getting Goldspan Dragon out is pretty good. Redraw the Valakut's Awakening, perhaps? Since I'm not getting in with these guys, let's tap them all down. It would cost me 2 treasures to do it. Whereas next turn I could probably go off with the extra card. So yeah, it's probably worthwhile. Maybe shouldn't have even bothered crewing for that reason. They are kind of just playing fair now though, because we've killed enough Manadorks and Kinnons that it's not really worthwhile them trying to get that early game aggression down, so it's just basically a Simic ramp deck at this point. Just need to dodge nasty things like Agent of Treachery that ruins fun, you know, things of that nature. Great Henge. Guess that also counts as fun ruining. Although, not too bad in this scenario. Because our opponent might be just on the verge of death from extreme value here. Gonna get in, sure. Got Vigilance as well. Elder GG. Do love that card. Can never be mad at it having too many keywords. Alright. So, get a Fearless Liberator. So what I want to do is I want to get Paradox Engine here, I think. So we're going to crew the squad of Dwarves. That's going to generate 3 treasures. Maybe our opponent will let us play this out because they're not terribly behind right now. That generates us 3 treasures, crews the Heart of Kieran. We then sack 5 treasures to grab Paradox Engine, which is right here. Then we play the Fearless Liberator, untapping all of our permanents, creating an extra dwarf for us as well. What could they have here? A fight spell, maybe? I've got the mana, really, to not care. I guess they could go after the Heart of Kieran, perhaps. That would suck. Alright, then we crew. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Gives us a couple of treasures. We can then Magda. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Grab another artifact. Not sure what this one wants to be. Could be a Terror. Terror of Mount Valus. Gives double strike to the team. Double strike to the team. You gain 3 here, so you block here. 6. It's a lot. It's not enough, right? We've got a Cultivator's Caravan that could generate me some mana. A Sky Sovereign could kill the Elysian Caryatid. We've got 1 treasure. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I got the Sky Sovereign, I could equip that up and go again. Yeah, I guess we'll go Sky Sovereign, kill the Caryatid. Brazen borrow, okay. So, in response, untap the squad. And, yeah, let them bounce. And they've kind of had enough, because I can just replay the Paradox engine and keep going, technically. What I was actually going to do, I think, is from there, tap 4 of my Dwarves, get another card with Magda. It's probably going to be the Crowan Memorial, I guess. I don't really know, to be honest. Or maybe it's the Terror at that point. Terror seems okay. We're killing the Elysian Caryatid. It's kind of knocking them a little bit down a peg, but yeah. Kinnon's had enough. We've out-comboed them. Fantastic. Alrighty then, we're in. On the draw against Coma, Cosmos Serpent. This is a commander I've played on stream before, and I found it to be quite effective, although brutally painful to play against, so I can't really imagine our opponent's going to be any more fun than the version that I built, because my version was not fun. But Como Cosmos Serpent is a 3 double green, double blue, 6/6, uncounterable. In the beginning of each upkeep, you create a 3/3 blue serpent creature token named Coma's Coil, and then you can sacrifice serpents to either tap permanents, which is what we want to be doing, or allow Coma to be indestructible, which is irrelevant. So it's pretty cool, actually, all things considered. I think I'm going to lead with Magda here in a very rare situation, because next turn... Actually, I was going to say next turn I've got Captain Lannery with haste, but I guess that doesn't make too much sense, because I really have to care about all that. I could hit the Florahedron with a Scorching Dragonfire, I suppose. Not letting them ramp does work in my favor a little bit, I suppose, but I don't know. Let's go 7 Dwarves for now. It's a shame we don't have a 1-mana Dwarf. It would really go well with Magda. Yeah, we do need to keep Coma away from the 7 mana, but at 4... I'm going to see some nasty stuff, but it can't be too nasty. Beanstalk Giant into... Foretelling a card. Interesting. Alright, I think this is where we go Magda. Get the 7 Dwarves to go in. And it's probably this time when I actually go for the Scorching Dragonfire, right? I guess actually no, I'll go with the 7 Dwarves. The reason being I'll use the Scorching Dragonfire to open up the way for an attack next turn. For some Mega Ramp, perhaps. I think that might be a little bit better. I'm not sure what that Foretell card will be. Whether it be maybe some counter magic or card draw. Behold the Multiverse or Saw It Coming kind of cards. Right, well, we are definitely... They're at 4, 5, 6. It'll be 7 with Coma if I don't kill this Florahedron. So let's see if they have the Saw It Coming in the Foretell zone. Floating mana. Yeah, it's a Saw It Coming. And a gate? Oh, never mind. Okay. Well, play another Dwarf. It's a Depart the Realm. Wow. That's a card. It's a card I have never had cast against me, and I had forgotten it existed. Fair enough. Alright. So we're kind of close to getting where we want to be. Mirror Shield to make the Coma hexproof down the line is kind of annoying, but is what it is. Alright, we're going to go Magda. Going to go Lannery Storm. And we're going to get swinging with the team, generating 4 treasures. And put our opponent to -10. Alright, okay. Fair enough. Well, that's dwarf aggression, I guess. I didn't really think it existed all that much, considering we've got like 16 creatures in the deck, and some of the dwarves are technically like sorcery based, but, you know, still, not enough creatures for a super aggressive hand. You just kind of do the combo finish every time, as we've maybe hopefully demonstrated today. But yeah, that's Magda for you. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you have, I'd really appreciate it if you do hit that like button and subscribe. It's going to be the last of the historic brawls because it's coming to an end. Hopefully it's an April Fool's joke and they give us it back for free anyway. Gonna go ahead and assume that's not the case, but yeah. Anyway, make sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you've been playing during the historic brawl season, and then maybe when I come back to face my viewers in a mighty stream battle, I might play your deck. Who knows? Either way, though, thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe. See you later. Bye-bye!